Well, here was a game, hopefully the recording works out, in which I'm facing Torx, who gets to go first, and he is playing, well, Edric. So, it's Edric versus Edric. So the question in whenever you have a mirror match, and the question you should ask every game is, are you the aggro or are you the control? With a hand like this, I am definitely the control player, which means that I will be trading life in order to set up a position of dominance. So the perfect thing happens there. I lead off with a coast and he uses his turn 2 play to play an artifact and I'm able to kill it. So I basically, my turn 1 play cancels his turn 2 play, and now my turn 2 play attempts to cancel his turn 3 play. And actually, I wanted to leak here because, you know, if I counter the Elvish Scraper, or Scrapper, that's great, since I do have quality artifacts. But if I don't, and he taps out for a counter here, I've got Jace coming down next turn. So he goes for the counter, which is perfect. And actually, was a friend of mine was watching, and I said, hey, I'm hoping he counters right here. So we set him back, and now, suddenly, I am in control. Or I'm certainly in the lead. But Kira shows up to make that problematic. I'm not going to be able to continuously bounce things with Jace. So I go for bribery, and I probably should have shown his deck. The only other option he had here, he had Predator, he had Eternal Witness, he had clones, a clone effect, Phantasmal Image. If he had had any other kind of clone, I probably would have taken it and cloned the Kira. But since it was image, Kira won't counter the image's targeting effect, so I didn't want to do that. He also had Deranged Hermit. And then I checked, and he has a lot of cheap counter spells. So I decided on Predator because I just want to protect my position, and also I know he's got quality artifacts if he's playing Jite. And since I saw the rest of his deck, he's got swords. So I go ahead and see this with Jace, and I leave it on top of his deck, since although he's going to be able to do the elf pickup, he's not going to be able to do the untap a creature with his guy thing. His Kira is going to counter his Wirewood Symbiote's effect. So this actually does make it easier if he draws equipment, though. Normally with Kira out, he'd have to play equipment, attempt to equip it a second time. This way he can play equipment, attempt to pick up one of his guys that gets countered, and then go for the equip. So anyway, the plan was ultimately to witness back a bribery and then bribe him for Deranged Hermit. So this turn I go ahead and just draw 3 to see what my options are. And looking at all this, I put back in a Skull Clamp and an Island. I want to keep developing, and I really have no time to mess around with Clamp, and he's got his Elvish Scrapper in play anyway. So I go ahead and play the Witness for the bribe, and then tap out in order to scroll for Cyclonic Rift. And then I Growth Chamber up a Coast. And I take Coast because on the off chance that he has some sort of funky land kill, like if he has Terastodon, for example, he won't be able to kill all of my green mana this way. But at the same time, if I draw like Cradle, I'd rather be playing a Cradle. So this was like the backup plan in the face of something. He didn't have Terastodon in his deck, or I would have probably bribed it into play. But he might have bribery from my Terastodon. So anyway, what he's got is Cryptic Command. So he bounces his Predator back to his hand and draws a card. It's unfortunate. It's one of the reasons I actually really considered Deranged Hermit, was it makes it immune to bounce, while at the same time penalizing me if he draws a clone. Anyway, so he swings in with everything, and he's actually attacking me. He wants the cards, so he's going to get cards, but I'm going to get cards off of Jace. It's kind of questionable whether or not I would leave my opponent's Jace in play. Anyway, I choose to block Edric. Now he could return Edric to his hand with the Wirewood Symbiote And actually, I think that is probably the play. But if he does that, he doesn't know it. But if he does that, I'm going to be able to snap Eternal Witness using a Tomb and a Growth Chamber. So I'll tap 4 mana, snap for 2, untap the same 2 lands, and I'll have 2 mana floating. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and a land is 9. So I could potentially bribe him with a Cryptic Command backup, or rift him with a counterspell if I draw one. He doesn't make that play though. He kills his Edric. So I'm happy because although he's going to draw 3 cards here, he has no way to continuously draw cards without tapping 5 mana on his main phase, which is a big deal. I think what he was looking for though is a counterspell. I think he knows I have the Rift, so he's trying to find a way to stop the Rift from owning him. So I draw. Of course, on my end, I'm trying to find a way to get the Rift through with a counter backup. So first thing I do is I Jace. I draw that sackland there, and I put away the coast, and I put away the snap. Since my witness died that turn, there's no point in hanging on to it. I can't snap anything over there. I get down with Scalding Tarn, shuffle away the cards I don't want, get some life for the pool, and go for Trinket into Soul Ring, so that I can then Soul Ring into Tezzeret, and Tezzeret for 0. If I'd have done it the other way, if I'd trinketed a Crypt, I would have 1 mana up, and then I could Tezzeret the Soul Ring with 1 mana remaining and probably have cast a Mystic, but I'd have 1 less counter on the Tezzeret. And I was thinking I might like to get a sword. I don't know if he's going to attack Tez or not, but I was thinking I might like to get a sword of Feast and Famine, possibly, and so I wanted Tezzeret to live if I chose to go that route. Unsure whether or not that was really the right play, because getting more mana probably would have been the most sensible thing. I knew, of course, one of these was likely dead due to the Elvish Scrapper. But he has an Octavi Orangutan. Now, if this had been Viridian Shaman, or one of the other elves, he could have then just picked it up with Wirewood and then hit it again, hit the other one. Luckily, it's not. It's Octavi, so I lose a Soul Ring. And then he just swings with that guy, going after Jace. I guess he thinks Jace is less threatening than Tezzeret. Little does he know that is incorrect. So I draw for the turn. There's my Spell Pierce. So if he's got any counter spell that costs 2 mana, I can't stop him from countering a Rift. If he's got a 4 mana counter, well, he's already used 1, so it would have to be something else. I can stop him, or a 3 mana counter I can stop him, as long as it's not Mystic Snake, as far as his 4 mana goes. So, because of that, I decided I'm going to go ahead and just draw cards with Jace. And this is what I see. There's that coast again, so I get rid of the coast. And I've got to put something back. So I have to put back a creature right now. So I put back the Mystic, because I like the picture on Finhorn Elves better. I like the old borders on the old art. So from here, what do? I decide to cast Finhorn Elves, since he's almost free. It did cost me a blue, but with Cradle now produce 2. And actually, the more I thought about it, 2, 4, 6, 7. I should have. There was really no way to. There was no way to cast Cyclonic Rift and still have Cryptic Command mana up this turn. Without pumping mana off a Tezzeret. So I just decided to take a little bit of a risk and go for a Rift instead. And then what I can do is, if this doesn't work out, I can use Tezzeret to get some more mana and bribe him and put Drain Sherman into play. And although Jace will die, I'll still be in a really commanding position at that point, I think. Most likely on his turn he'll tap 5 mana, cast Edric, draw a card, or he'll kill Jace and not draw a card, but either way I'm in good shape from there. However, and I was like, oh, not Mystic Snake, I can't counter that. And it's not Mystic Snake, it's Thwart. Thwart is not going to get it done, sir. So I'm able to Spell Pierce him, and this is it. He's done. And as I am the control player in this match, I have now established control, and my opponent gives up. So I hope you enjoyed that game. I don't know. There were a lot of decision points here, and while my line of play certainly resulted in a victory, you could see that there were quite a number of other sort of routes I could have taken to try to get there. But this does demonstrate why I've now gone to including Merchant Scroll and Muddle the Mixture, because Cyclonic Rift is so utterly good that more and more ways to go get Rift is correct. I've got Mystical Tutor for it. I can draw it. I've got the Scroll for it. I've got Muddle for it. So, pretty good shape. One change I recently made, I took out Mox Diamond and I put in Simic Charm. I found that Mox Diamond's only good when I'm winning, and it's good on turn 1, and that's it. I don't need it when I'm winning. And I have plenty of turn 1 plays that I'm totally comfortable making. Like, you get these hands where you go land, elf, and you have a Mox Diamond. You can play the Mox Diamond, but there's no point because you've already made your turn 1 play. And then on turn 2, you only have 1 land, so what do? Throw the Mox Diamond down? You have to wait until you're actually hitting him with Edric for it to be good. Cards that require me to hit my opponent with Edric to be good, I don't like. And in this format, with the amount of acceleration the deck is running, it's just redundant with not as much of a... It does let me do occasionally disgusting things, but it doesn't... It's not... I don't need it to do those things. Whereas in another deck, in a deck with, like, say, land tax and tithe and stuff, like the Queen deck, Mox Diamond has an actual role to play, a specific role to play, which is to prevent me from playing too many lands so I can take advantage of tax effects. Here I don't have that. Simic Charm, on the other hand, does something very special. It's 2 mana, and it counters target's Strip Mine to destroy Gaia's Cradle. One of the guys commented on my video, pointed that out to me, and I think that's a big deal. Gaia's Cradle wins a lot of games, and so does being able to protect being able to protect myself from theft and a number of other things. So anyway, those are the changes I've made, for good or bad, and hopefully you enjoyed watching that game, and there'll be more to come. Thanks for watching.